Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-3800. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3800 is contained at Site-93, located near the Eurasian Pole of Inaccessibility in Xinjiang, China. It is to be kept in a standard containment locker. Currently, a colony of SCP-3800-1 is contained on a previously uninhabited archipelago, designated Outpost 3800, see addendum, located at the following coordinates. Hidden cameras have been installed at various locations on the outpost to monitor and study the colony's activity. Currently, roughly 34%, 4.5 kilometers of the outpost's landmass, is covered in SCP-3800-1 structures. The colonization of Outpost 3800 is not expected to increase the range of SCP-3800 to dangerous levels. Testing held at Outpost 3800 of any kind must be approved by 2 Level 4 personnel. Additional SCP-3800-1 instances that manifest for any reason are to be tranquilized and transported to Outpost 3800. Emergency protocols to transport SCP-3800 to Lunar Outpost 45 have been arranged and will be enacted should SCP-3800's radius grow past 2,500 kilometers. Description: SCP-3800 is an oil and acrylic print of Sean Tan's They Came by Water set in a wooden frame. It appears to be an original print. The title, artist signature, and identification number 283 out of 500 are all present at the bottom of the print. SCP-3800's anomalous effect manifests when it is located within roughly 800, previously thought to be 100, kilometers of any coastline, seashore, or ocean. Should this occur, instances of SCP-3800-1 will emerge from the ocean at an hourly rate of 5 to 20 instances per kilometer of coastline encompassed by SCP-3800's radius. Instances of SCP-3800-1 appear to be Caucasian humanoids with several physical abnormalities. Most notably, instances lack mouths, nostrils, genitalia, mammaries, anuses, and body hair. Additionally, all instances share traits of dwarfism and show little signs of higher intelligence. They possess no form of written or spoken communication and lack any sort of religion, trade system, or hierarchy. Following initial manifestation, instances will walk to shore and begin establishing a colony. When in a group, instances of SCP-3800-1 will attempt to establish a series of structures away from humans, aggressive fauna, or inhospitable areas. Specifically, instances will attempt to build shelters out of available materials and begin farming any available flora. SCP-3800-1 instances will become agitated and hostile if impeded from creating these structures or if they are destroyed. Additionally, instances have shown the ability to craft and utilize rudimentary tools such as clubs, axes, and digging sticks out of stone, wood, and grasses, but appear to be unable to create or use more advanced technology. Once instances of SCP-3800-1 have established their initial colony, they continue to expand it, building additional farms and shelters further out from their original settlement point. Instances almost never engage in activity that does not benefit their colony and usually spend their time gathering materials, building structures, or tending to farms. As the colony's population grows, instances show a progressively greater ability to clear obstacles preventing them from expanding their territory, such as thick flora, animal territories, and man-made structures. However, SCP-3800-1 has never attempted to cross bodies of seawater following their initial manifestation and appear unable to do so. For each square kilometer of land that SCP-3800-1 incorporates into their territory, SCP-3800's radius of effect increases by roughly 5 kilometers. This radius also increases by 5 kilometers per day whenever no active SCP-3800-1 colonies exist. Due to continental constraints, a radius past 2,645 kilometers would result in an exponential increase in SCP-3800's range and uncontrolled SCP-3800-1 manifestations thereafter, leading to a possible RK-class restructuring scenario or NK-class end-of-the-world scenario should it be left on Earth. Initial discovery. SCP-3800 was initially discovered on 02/03/11 following a 112 call from Useless Loop, Western Australia, with reports of strange men building houses in the middle of the road. Once an anomaly was confirmed in the area, Mobile Task Force Sigma-16, Dusty's goons, were tasked with investigation, containment, and cleanup of the area. Initial contact with SCP-3800-1 was made on the same day, with structures created by the instances present for roughly 4 kilometers along the eastern coast of Kararang. Once cleanup of the structures began, SCP-3800-1 instances became hostile and attempted to attack Mobile Task Force personnel, though not causing any serious injuries. All instances, and those that manifested thereafter, were tranquilized and transported to Site-23 for containment. While Mobile Task Force 16 was stationed in the area, SCP-3800-1's radius of manifestation grew large enough to encompass much of the western Kararang coast as well. A second colony manifested there, and expanded unobserved for over 16 hours due to the small population density in the area. By the time this colony was discovered, the instance's manifestation radius had grown rapidly. Following this event, additional forces were called to aid in containment. SCP-3800-1 continued to manifest off the coast of Western Australia for roughly 2 weeks. During this time, SCP-3800's radius had grown to encompass the entirety of Kararang's coastline, along with portions of Nanga, Dirk-Harthog Island, and Francois Perron National Park. Due to the increasing radius of manifestation, emergency containment procedures were devised for the evacuation of Perth and other Western Australian cities, along with a complete quarantine of the Western Australian coast. On 15/03/11, SCP-3800 was discovered in an SCP-3800-1 shelter in northern Tamala and brought inland to Site-23, ceasing SCP-3800-1's manifestation. Due to inconsistencies between SCP-3800-1's initial manifestation location and SCP-3800's recovery location, it was determined that SCP-3800 had been moved at least once, likely by an instance of SCP-3800-1. Additionally, the structure in which SCP-3800 was located also contained a number of unusual items. See Addendum 2. The remaining SCP-3800-1 structures were destroyed soon after. Total loss is numbered at dollars in damage, injured civilians, and casualties. Amnestics were administered to individuals. All captured SCP-3800-1 instances were placed under medically induced comas and contained at Site-23. Addendum. Roughly 5 months following initial containment, several instances of SCP-3800-1 manifested off the Great Australian Bight. Following containment and subsequent remanifestation of the instances, it was determined that SCP-3800's radius of effect had increased from an approximate 100 kilometers to a minimum 800 kilometers. It was hypothesized that SCP-3800's effect radius increases whenever no active SCP-3800-1 colonies exist. This was proven following multiple tests of SCP-3800-1 manifestation. All newly manifested instances, along with the instances contained in Site-23, were transported to what would become Outpost 3800 and awakened from their comas. Following the creation of Outpost 3800, SCP-3800 was transported to its current location at Site-93 using the SCPS Christoph. Addendum 2. Recovered materials. Additional objects were found in the shelter where SCP-3800 was initially discovered. However, SCP-3800 was the only object that showed any anomalous capabilities. These items included 1 incomplete ocean navigation chart, 1 handwritten note, and 1 non-functional compass. All 3 items were dated to the late 1500s. The note appeared to be a ripped-out diary page and is written in Portuguese. Most of the note has been water damaged and is illegible. It is as follows. Translated into English. Day 133. It was a mistake to come here, for these lands are already inhabited. Their cities go on for as far as the eye can see. The rest of the crew entered a day ago, and only Thomas has returned to the ship. At least, it feels like Thomas. He said that the natives intend to send a message to the children and asked me to come with him. Said I could either join the crew or die with the ship. I told him to give me a day to decide, and he returned to the city. I believe my decision is made. Even now, I see them preparing their ships across the horizon. I must act now. The captain brought a sample from last year's outbreak, just in case. It won't survive long outside the ship unless I take it upon myself to bring it into the city. I see no other option. We were doomed once we reach the shore. I will bury my personal effects here, and should... Illegible for the remainder of the note. This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye. I would like to give a special thank you to Zargaran, Oh Crap Guy, Rowan O'Brien, Ordus Malleus, James Saba, Hello, Your Local Foundation Agent, Dane Dingus, Soto Voce, Simon the Skink, The Ultimate Guy, Grimnir, Extra Moments 123, Swift Raw, and Dr. Manfatten. If you would like a special thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, visit patreon.com/TheVolgun. Thank you.